Okay, so we have done with the registration process, and one thing that you would have understood by now is this method register user from DAO class or DAO MVC class. It is returning integer if values are inserted successfully, means if user is registered. So if you are registered successfully, earlier I printed this on the console, but what do we actually want in project is we want to go to the next page. That could be, say, your login page with a message. Fine. So I can set a message here like this: request dot set attribute. Fine. Again, a message attribute I am setting. Fine. On login page, right? So this message will be registration successful. Fine. Then login here, right? So for login we have to go to, say, get servlet context dot, will dispatch a request to login dot JSP page, forwarding request object and response object, right? So this will take me to the login dot JSP page. Fine. So I had already created a login dot JSP page to save the time. Fine. So this is my login page where I'm printing this login page, a simple white page code only. Fine. There is no design. Then within this table I'm keeping this username, I'm taking this password, then I click on login. When I click on this login, it will take me to the login servlet. Fine. This login servlet is not created, so we'll create this. And as per MVC architecture, I had already told you in the first video that all the servlets must be created within controller package. So within controller package, I'll right click, I'll go to new, I'll go to servlet. Fine. And I'll give the servlet name as login servlet. Then I can choose to add only do get method here. Fine. So this method will be added. Now again we want to go for MVC architecture only. So first step in MVC architecture always remains retrieve all parameters from JSP page. Fine. So my JSP page is this login JSP, login.jsp, because from login.jsp only I'm coming to login servlet. Fine. So on login.jsp I have these two parameters, uname and pass. So on login servlet I'll go for request dot get parameter, say uname, right? And we'll keep this in a string uname only. Then second parameter I will take is pass for keeping the password value. All the parameters are retrieved. See, we have only two parameters. Fine. Then I can check if uname dot equals null or uname equal blank, or second field is password, so password cannot be null or it cannot be blank. Fine. If this is the case, we'll go for request dot set attribute again. This attribute will be named as message, and we are printing a message like all fields are mandatory. Fine. Then we are going for get servlet context dot get request dispatcher, and we are dispatching a request back to login.jsp because you have not entered the valid parameters and values and you have left some of the fields as blank. Fine. So we'll go back to login.jsp. On login.jsp we can print this message, right? So this message will be printed here, so we can break it a row, right? So validations are done. Then if this is false, means if values are not blank, right? You entered both username and password, then you can create object of model class. Fine, because this is my second step, right? Second step in MVC is set all values in model class object, right? So I'll set the values. Now here it is giving a complaint like this particular method is this particular class is not available, so I'll inform this class is available in model package, so this package will be imported over here, right? So model package is imported, right? Then I can go for m dot set uname to give uname, m dot set password to set password. Values are set. Then I will require one string, right, that we usually pass. This string will be select star from, say, table name. My table name is my register, where username is equals to question mark and password is equals to question mark. Fine. So I'll check if my table have the same fields. Yes, it have the same fields, username and password, right? Then we'll come to the third step. Third step is call a method in DAO to select data from table, and as I had already explained in the class, to access data or select data we have to call a method select query, and select query method always returns a result set. Fine, so we'll get the value into result set. Fine, so it is saying result set cannot be resolved to a type, so we can add it from java.sql package. Then to get the result set I can call a method in DAO MVC, because it is MVC architecture, so I'm creating a method, say login user. Fine, and I'm passing two parameters, model class object and a SQL, right? Now this DAO MVC cannot be resolved to a type again, so we'll inform this is part of DAO package, so one more package will be imported here, and then it is saying this login user is not existing, so we will create this method, right? So this method will be created here. Now again our code is returning, or this particular method is returning a result set, so let us create object of result set class rs is equals to null, and the same rs I'm returning from here. Fine, so here in between I have to write the code how I will get the rs, right, or this result set. So to get a result set I require a connection class object, because I have to connect to the database so that I can execute that particular query. Fine, then I'll go for prepare a statement. SQL I already have as a variable. Fine, so I'm keeping this. This will give me prepared statement class object that we usually call as PS, right? This method or this particular calling returns or throws an exception, so we will surround it with try catch over here. Then we can go for PS dot set string, right? For first parameter I'm setting the value that is available into your model class object, and for second again I'm setting attribute or setting the string. Fine, for second whatever available into password field, right? Both the values are set. Once values are set, we can go for PS dot execute query method. Now this execute query method returns result set. Fine, and same result set object we had already created. Fine, so this result set I am getting as a result, and same result set I am returning from my method. Fine, so here on login you will get your result set in return. Fine, then I can easily check if your result set have some of the values. So if rs dot next, fine, this next method will inform me it checks if result set have values. If result set have values, it returns true. If result set does not have values, it returns false, right? So if there is some case, again else there is some case. So again this method returns an exception. This result set throws one exception, so I'll handle that exception here. So click on the light bulb, double click on surround with trackage, the complete block is surrounded. Fine. So here I can go for the main say a page now. So one of the page I had already created, so I can get my context. Fine, I can go to request dispatcher and I can dispatch my request to say user main.jsp page, forwarding both request and response objects, right? So this will take me to the user main.jsp page. If your login is not successful due to any reason, you can go to login page back, right? So this is how we can go for the login. So once you are registered, I can go for login now, right? Let me check the values. What are the values I inserted? So I inserted Yogesh12 as username and 111 as password, right? So Yogesh12 is username, 111 is the password. I'll go to login. Fine, it is on main page where we had printed only this welcome, nothing else, right? So in next video we shall see how can we take these values to the next page and how can we update using MVC architecture.